Hey y'all, it's Lola the Manager, your new favorite project manager, tech junkie, and entrepreneur. Welcome back to season 2 of Life as a Project Manager. Today, I'm sharing something very personal and eye-opening from my recent job search experience. So I recently was checking in on my Discord community and asking everyone, how's the job search going? Are they getting any offers and opportunities? What's going on with their certifications? Just doing a real temperature check. And then I wanted to give a slight update. So I looked at my calendar and noticed I've had interviews every month since October 2024. We are currently in August 2025 at the time of this recording. So that means 11 months of interviews. Today, I'm sharing what I discovered about the current state of the project management job market. And trust me, some of these insights might surprise you. And because there's so much to unpack, this is part 1 of a 2-part series. Let's go. Let me start by giving you some context for my search. I keep telling you guys about my Life with Lola series where I share my journey of post-burnout and trying to get back into project management after what felt like the worst season of my life. And I was actively looking for work, but more so just small, quick contracts to get myself back into the groove, into where I would be comfortable with doing more long-term heavy lifting project management. So I was looking at stuff like coordinator roles, project manager roles. I was looking at things that were business analysts and all different types of titles. And some of them were very short-term contracts. Like I picked up a contract earlier this year that was maybe just a few weeks. And so I was just trying to find something, and then once I get back into the groove of working, then we can go and tackle the big boys. But boy, was I surprised to see what was going on. When I checked my calendar and I saw that I was interviewing every single month since October 2024, I was shocked because I'm always interviewing. And when I say I'm always interviewing, even when I have contracts, I'm interviewing for my next contract. But I'm not necessarily interviewing every month of the current contract that I'm on. So I may be working a contract that's 12 months. That doesn't mean that I'm interviewing with companies for 12 months. That means I'm putting out fillers to see what's out there. And then especially as I get closer towards the end of that contract, I'm trying to see what can I get next, so I don't have that big gap of like, this contract ended, when's the next contract going to start? And don't take this lightly when I said that I interviewed every single month. That's a substantial amount of interviews. People are not even getting callbacks when they submit their resumes. They're getting rejection emails. So the fact that I'm actually getting interviews, that says a lot. One, what's on my resume is actually good, because why would you call me for an interview if I didn't make it past the applicant tracking system? But also it says, since I went through multiple rounds of interviews, meaning with one company I make it all the way to the final round with the senior leaders, that says that what I'm saying in the interviews is resonating with the interviewers, with the employers, and they are pushing me through the process. I've interviewed for roles across different companies, different role levels, and different industries. Here I talk a lot about technology, but that doesn't mean I'm applying to tech companies. I may be applying to a marketing agency. I may be applying to a health company. I may be applying to any type of industry that has a project manager role that could benefit from my tech experience as a project manager. Now, most of these roles that I was interviewing for were direct hire roles. That means it was not through an agency or some type of third party, which gave me direct insight into how companies are actually thinking about project management roles right now. Discovery 1, companies don't actually know what project managers do. That is crazy that a company would list a project manager role that they have available only for you to interview with them and find out they actually don't even know what you're supposed to do. Let's talk about it. This was probably my biggest shock. I can't tell you how many interviews I sat in where the interviewers couldn't clearly articulate what they expected the project manager to do on the day-to-day, the week-to-week, and overall within the company. They'd say things like, we need someone to manage projects. But then when you asked about methodology, meaning I want to know if we're going to be doing traditional waterfall projects, or is this a hybrid Scrum Agile type of environment? And they're looking at me like, what do you mean by that? Some companies really think that project managers are glorified administrative assistants. Others think we are technical leads. And then you have a good bit of people that think we're account managers. There's this fundamental misunderstanding of what our role actually entails entails, and it's causing problems for both the companies and the candidates. Discovery 2, pay has significantly decreased. This one hit me hard. I'm not gonna hold you. Even with 5+ and now I can say 6+ years of project management experience, as well as a PMP certification, which is a whole business license nonetheless, companies are starting offers as low as 60, 70K for roles that would have paid significantly higher years ago. I'm seeing senior level roles with coordinator level salaries. Now, I understand the market fluctuates, but this is feeling like companies are undervaluing the PM skill set, or they're confused about what level of experience they actually need. It's forcing experienced PMs to take pay cuts or look at different types of roles entirely. And I think this goes back to that first discovery where they're not really understanding what we're supposed to do. I don't care what anyone says, a project manager is a management level role. Now, you may not have direct authority over people, but if the project that we are focused on impacts the business, then yes, my role as a project manager is to ensure that this project is successful so that it impacts the business successfully. There's strategies and different things that's involved in ensuring that we execute this project to a level where the business sees growth, the business sees revenue, whatever the case may be. And you want me to play this role where I am managing these different types of departments, or specifically the tasks that these different types of departments need to complete in order for us to have a full deliverable, a full completed project. That's not no baby salary. You get what I'm saying? It takes a lot to be able to run the show. And so when we think about how these senior level project positions are getting coordinator level salary, mathematically, it doesn't make sense. If you're a senior PM and you're offering them $80,000, then a non-senior PM, what are you offering them? Are you offering them $60,000? Okay. So then now what are you offering the coordinator? $40,000, $30,000? Like, let's be for real with what we're saying that we're paying our project managers. It's crazy. In the contracting world, everyone knows when you do contracting, you get paid more. Why? Because you are not getting benefits and they don't take out taxes. So in a standard salaried role as a project manager, let's say you're getting paid $80,000 with benefits, and they take out the taxes, you pay your taxes and all that good stuff. With a contract role, you may get paid about $50, $60, $70, even $80 an hour, but you're responsible for covering your own benefits, getting your own health insurance, and paying your own taxes out of that. That way the company isn't liable to anything but just making sure they cut you a check for the work that you completed. And so even in the contracting world, I'm having recruiters and agencies reach out to me talking about, this role is going to be $40 an hour. And I'm like, okay, $40 an hour for someone with a PMP that has more experience than what you're asking for is a bit much. And then not only that, they'll ask, it's $40 an hour with the W-2. How about we scratch that W-2 and make this C2C, and then you run me $60, $70 an hour? Because what's really going on here? It's a slippery slope, and I think it is true that we are going to have to start accepting pay cuts in the meantime to grow that experience. But I just don't think it should be like that, because less than a year, 2-3 years ago, we were getting our due pay. You get what I'm saying? So very interesting. Discovery 3, everyone values the PMP different. So what I noticed is that more established companies actually value the PMP. They understand what it represents and they see it as a credibility marker. But newer companies or startups, they often don't even know what it is or why it matters. They just know it as a buzzword within the industry. I had one hiring manager ask me, so what does that certification actually mean for you? Like, it's nice to have, but what differentiates the PMP to someone that doesn't have it? And at that point, I was like, we're here for a wild ride. And as we're seeing a trend right now, when companies don't really understand what project managers do, they don't even see the value in the certification of a project manager. Because as you guys know or have been following my journey, you know that I currently am pursuing my MBA. And one of the benefits that the PMP offered me when applying for this program was I got to waive having to submit GRE scores or test scores because I had what they view as a business license, which is a PMP. And the PMP PMP is not no easy feat. One, it has a significant cost. This is a $500 plus exam as of today. And people are failing on their first and second attempt of this exam. This is not something that you just fly by and knock it out. Some people may, some people don't. But it's something that is significantly valuable because it shows that you understand the basic theoretical research and understanding of this industry. Everybody is operating from that same playing field when they have that PMP. We know that you're functioning on the same baseline as me. Same thing with someone pursuing college and getting their bachelor's. Everyone with their bachelor's are operating from the same baseline as a college educated individual. They understand how to write a college level paper because we're all taking the same type of entry level English and writing courses at the beginning and onset of our college career. We understand time management, task management, because in college environments, you understand that you really do a lot of the teaching and working outside of the classroom. And so we all have this baseline regardless of what our major is, regardless of where we went to school. Same thing with the PMP. And so it should be valued because you don't have to worry about whether or not I have the industry acumen and knowledge and understanding of project management, because that PMP already shows you that I'm not new to this, I'm true to this. Discovery 4, remote work reality check. Almost every role I interviewed for was fully remote, except for 2 that were hybrid. This tells me that remote work is here to stay, which is great for flexibility, but here's the catch. Companies are using remote work as a way to assess talent pools with lower cost of living, which might be contributing to the pay decrease that I mentioned. They're essentially saying, well, I'll let you work from anywhere, but we're going to pay based on a national average rather than your local market. And let me explain how this impacts you. So I'm someone that lives in Florida. Before I got into my MBA program, I was living in Miami, which is one of the most expensive cities in the United States, let alone in the state of Florida. We all know that there's other expensive states and cities within the US. We have California, specifically San Francisco, San Diego. We have New York. So living in the city, you know that you're going to be spending some big bang. So if I was working in person in California or in Florida or in New York, the pay needs to match what the cost of living is in that literal state. But if I get to work remotely, they're essentially trying to say, well, the national average is $50,000. So as long as I ensure that you make enough to match the national average and I let you get to work from anywhere, I think that should suffice. But if I'm living in a city currently, right now, I'm in Tampa, Florida, because my MBA program is at the University of South Florida. The cost of living here for a single person in a 1-bedroom, you need about $70,000. You need to be making about $70,000 per year. So if I end up in a remote role that's only going to pay me 50 something thousand because that's based on the national average, I'm still going to suffer. And so now you see people are taking multiple contracts at a time, moonlighting with other job opportunities. Maybe they're doing side gigs like Uber or Amazon Flex or different things like that to supplement the income. I don't like that. Now, I will say, me personally, in all my years as a project manager for these last 6 years, I have worked fully remote in all of those roles. And I love the flexibility of working remote because I like the way that I get to function and navigate my day as someone who cannot sit in a corner office with a view for 8 hours. It doesn't work for me. I'm willing to take pay cuts, but they need to be reasonable. So if the role would have paid me $100,000 on site, but now for me to be remote, I'm going to take a $20K pay cut at $80,000, I'm willing to do that because that flexibility is valuable to me. Also, if you're trying to figure out how to assess whether the pay cut is worth it, I need you to consider your drive time. Okay, I need you to consider how much gas you would spend to commute to and from work each day of the week. Make sure you include how long you will probably be in traffic. So maybe you'll be in traffic for an hour and you're driving 20 miles one way. So that's a 40-mile round trip drive that is providing wear and tear for your car 5 days a week. So if we're looking at 40 miles a day, you're spending about 200 miles a week on your car. In a month, you then spend 800 miles on your car. Within a year, we're looking at 96,000 miles on your car. What does that look like in gas? How many miles per gallon do you take? How much is gas right now? And so you do those calculations so you can see the benefits. Make sure you're also calculating how much it would cost for you to get your oil change every 3 months. months, how much it would cost if you needed to change your tires at least once. And so you take all those costs and then you subtract it from what they are offering for you to take as a remote worker, and then that may make more sense for you. Sometimes even hybrid is a good opportunity, hence why I applied to 2 hybrid roles. I am willing to do hybrid. I do enjoy or value, that's a better word, in-person connections. And so I don't mind coming into the office 2 days a week, 3 days a week. So I can do that, and then I get to spend some time at home. I still enjoy that type of flexibility. So you just got to figure out what works for you. But remote work is here to stay, but it does come at a cost. Discovery 5. The interview process has some wild inconsistencies. The variety in interview processes was pretty much all over the place. One company had me go through a 4-process interview for a very low-level project manager role, borderline project coordinator. Another company, they just had me do a hiring manager interview and that was enough. Other companies, you had me go meet directly with the senior leader and bypass whatever the hiring manager, almost as if like the hiring manager was the senior leader. And when I say senior leader, I need you to know that these are people that are like C-suite. Me meeting with the COO to interview for a project manager role is a red flag. I'm not supposed to meet with the COO first. I just want you to know that. It's levels to the way that you're supposed to interview. Meeting with that person first is a red flag to me, because how can I be your direct report? But in addition, this goes back to what we discussed earlier. If I'm viewing project management as a management level role, meaning I'm one of the leaders that you guys talk to and we strategize to understand what's going on within the organization. How can we execute these strategies and these projects and initiatives? You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of blurred lines here. It's a lot of like everybody's functioning differently. And one company asked me to do an assignment. And guess what I did? I used Claude, complete the assignment, and I still got a call back. This tells me that companies do not have a standardized way of evaluating PMs, which makes the process slightly unpredictable for everyone involved. I've had companies that in their interview process, now you want me to have a session with the coworkers so they can get a feel for me. Why? And I will say that companies that do not have an established PMO are typically the ones that are the most disorganized, or it's like, hey, I don't really know how this kind of functions. Because established PMOs, they know for a fact that, look, we are looking for this type of candidate to help us navigate the different type of projects and initiatives that are coming in through this department, this area of business. They understand that, and they know exactly what the PMs are supposed to have and what we need so we can get the show on the road. We know, hey, we want people that have PMPs. If you don't have that as a baseline, you're not going to make it far here, because I believe that you're not going to understand how we're supposed to function. You get what I'm saying? And so I really wish that there was this like one clear-cut way, because I know in other industries, like people that do like software engineers, software developing, like they know like, hey, we're going to have this process, we're going to do a technical test, we're going to do all these different other things. Whereas the PMs, we're just kind of like, hey, what's up? Let the hiring manager get a feel for me. Let the senior lead get a feel for me. Oh, maybe give me this assignment, see how well I am at coordinating a project. Like, those assignments are a joke. Hence why I used AI to get it done, because why waste my time with that? Especially with me having a portfolio where I recap my projects. I ain't interested in none of y'all games, okay? Discovery 6. Companies are exploring and not hiring. This was probably the most frustrating part of all these interviews that I've had. I had 3 companies literally tell me they're just seeing what's out there. Baby, what's out there is people that need a job. What do you mean see what's out there? To me, this sounds like you're trying to get some intel, get some information, low-key get us to do an assignment and a project so that you can go take it back to your company and put in motion while we didn't reap any benefit from that. I don't like that. Like, I'm seeing what's out there. Don't waste my time. People that are actively in the job market looking for work and applying and trying to make ends meet are not here to be played with. Interviewing people for roles that you don't even have open yet. I have some understanding as to why, especially like contract roles that are bidding on different projects and they haven't like secured the bid, but they kind of want to have like some people. The way that I see it is you need to build up your talent pool, right? Hire, and then you're constantly bidding for contracts. And then as you secure the contracts, you assign them to your pool. But getting a feel for me, but you don't bring me on and you don't have like, we're wasting time here. They're essentially doing market research on talent and compensation using real candidates, which is crazy because like you can actually use AI. It's like window shopping with people's career hopes. This taught me to ask more pointed questions up front about whether the role actually exists and has budget approval. Because what we're not gonna do is play with my emotions and livelihood. People are out here depressed, sick, suicidal, hurting for some coins. Inviting me to an interview as market research and you didn't even give me no type of compensation, no type of stipend, because it sounds like you just want to do a focus group, but you know nobody's going to sign up for this focus group, so you go put out this dummy role out here to do your focus. I don't like that. I really don't. I do feel like the companies that were doing this, they didn't really know if project manager is what they wanted. Because I know for one of the companies, it was for a firm that does accounting for major companies. Cool. So who is their main bread and butter? They have accountants. And they need the accountants to know project management. So what they wanted to do was bring in someone to develop some type of standardized project management for the accountants, and then also provide them the support and coaching they need to ensure that they are on track with these accounting projects. They listed the role as a project manager. In talking with them, they're looking for a coach. You guys are looking for like a performance coach that also can develop a project management curriculum. But you don't really know that. So you're playing with me, trying to get insight as I ask questions and talk to you on how to fine tune this role. Baby. And what's insane, HR explained the role completely different to the hiring managers that I was speaking with. The hiring managers were the partners, the senior partners. This is C-suite that I'm interviewing with that really doesn't know what they want. It's wild. Now, of course, as frustrating as all of this is, there is a silver lining. I'm actually optimistic about the project management field. The fact that companies are struggling to define what they need means there's an opportunity for skilled PMs to educate and add value. The market is like sorting itself out, and companies understand how to properly utilize project managers have the competitive advantage. For us as professionals, it means we need to be better at articulating our value and finding companies that understand what we bring to the table. So though the market may be in chaos, we don't need to be. And so that's one of the main reasons I make these videos, so we can have these conversations, so we can educate each other, so that now when we're in the room in these interviews, we're interviewing them. We're putting them in the hot seat. Because if you're going to have my time right now for an hour and you want to interview for a project manager, I'm going to be interviewing for senior leaders and hiring managers that understand the value of my work. Because no, baby, I don't just manage tasks. I make sure that we bring in proficiency, optimization, process improvement. I ensure that we have the documentation that our department, our company needs to thrive. I ensure that those strategic initiatives that you guys are talking about every quarter, that I may not be privy to that specific meeting, but I am in attendance in our town hall. I make sure that we're executing on that in these deliverables for these different projects. Clock that T. Now, in next week's video, part 2 of this series, I'm going to deep dive into all the different job titles I encountered during my interview search. Because let me tell you, the variety was wild. You're actually going to be like, Lola, how did you land all these different interviews at these different companies with these different job titles? Baby, I'm a little surprised myself. I'll also share insights about culture fit versus qualifications and give you some specific strategies for navigating this current job market. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it with you. The job market is brutal. There's articles on articles on articles about how even though the unemployment rate is low, we are seeing a significant number of people without jobs. A lot of dislocated workers. And when we say dislocated, that means the industry degree and skill set and certifications that you have, you cannot secure employment with that. And so now you're forced to go get a role or a job that has nothing to do with your skill set. It's like being a project manager, not being able to find a project manager job, and now you're working at BJ's as an overnight stock associate. You're a dislocated worker. When we say unemployed, you're not bringing in money anywhere from a company. You may even be struggling as a freelance contractor. You're not being able to find gigs, whether it's on Upwork or it's on staffing agencies. It's a brutal market. It's a very brutal market. Okay, of all these roles that I interviewed for, I only had got 3 offers. And one of the offers I rejected because in my interview, when I put them in the hot seat, I realized how hectic and demanding and intense this role was going to be for me. And if I would have started that role, I probably would have quit in a month or 2. So what's been your experience in the PM market lately? Are you seeing similar trends? Drop in the comments. Let me know what's going on, what you've been experiencing, what you've been witnessing, any questions you may have. If you're currently job searching, know that you are not alone in these experiences. The market is shifting, but there are still great opportunities out there. Speaking of opportunities, make sure you join the Discord. The Discord is a private project management community that I created for us to share all types of resources, wins, gems, and all of the above. Especially the highlight of this platform is the job board section, where I post jobs daily in the US and internationally, as well as internships in the US and internationally. So I share these on here. Consider it a specific project manager job board. Use it to your advantage. I want us all to win. You're more than welcome to ask any questions within the Discord as well to find out what's going on, what we working on, what we got going on. You feel me? Whether it's me directly or you're asking the community as a whole, I just want to create a space for us by us. Be sure to follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Lola the Manager. And make sure you are subscribed to this amazing YouTube channel, because you can literally be anywhere in the world right now, but you're right here getting professional development with me, and I love that for you. Hit the notification bell so you do not miss out on part 2 of this series. Until next time.